God. Now, yesterday I discussed how all that happened, but I didn't get a chance to talk about what happened after I walked away from the situationship. That was not easy, but the beauty of it is that God made sure that I had something to focus on. He kept putting information in front of me, people in my ear. He had the perfect plan in place. It was hard for me to start reading the Bible. I'm not going to sit here and say that was easy for me, because it wasn't. But the more and more I started getting around other people that had relationship with God, I was able to start to understand. And not only just by that, I started to realize that going to church is good. It's really good, but it's not enough. I really needed God all the time. And I'm like that now. Church on Sunday, that's great, but to have a relationship with Him, it's going to take more than one day a week. You really have to embrace it. But I will say, during that walk, it was difficult because I had the enemy still in my ear. Don't you miss Him? Don't you want to go back? Why'd you walk away? Why don't you try and fix things? What was there to be fixed? There was nothing to be fixed. The enemy stayed on me as I was dragging myself away. The enemy just kept trying to pull me back, and it hurt. It hurt a lot, but I had to learn, how did I get into that situation and how not to go back. And God started to address different things in my life. He reminded me, a lot of the issues I had were passed down to me. He reminded me that on both sides of my family are women that struggled greatly. My father's mother never married my grandfather. She had 4 children for him. And she dealt with a lot. And then on my mother's side of the family, my mother's mother had her at a young age and gave her all over to foster care. And they didn't really even have a good relationship. I didn't even have a good relationship with my grandmother. She had a lot of issues because her mother wasn't available. Her mother was sick and was hospitalized and couldn't take care of her family. So there was a lot happening before I even got here. And now I'm here, and my mom, she did the best she could, but there were a lot of things that I didn't learn. There was a lot of things that got passed down to me, and a lot of things that I seen that I didn't need to see. I watched my mother get slapped, and nothing happened. So to me, at a young age, I'm like, oh, so that's okay. It's okay to be disrespected. It's all right to forgive your abuser. That's okay. And God just really started to dig deep into some stuff that I had forgot all about. He helped me understand that I didn't want to be alone, so I would hold on to people. I had attachment issues. He taught me that, I wouldn't speak up for myself. I kind of followed behind people, which was true. I didn't stand for anything. And so it was easy for people to say and do things. I'm very sensitive, which is a good thing. But back then for me, it wasn't, because I took everything that people said seriously, to the point where it would hurt deeply. I didn't have thick skin. Now it's not even, I'm still sensitive. It's not even about having thick skin now. It's about, God already told me who I am, what I'm about. And so that's all that matters. So this whole entire world can say what they want. I know that God knows me, loves me, and that's all I need to know. So He really started to dig deep into the areas of my life that needed to be addressed. One of the major things was giving. I'm a giver, and it makes me happy to give. But to the point where it's starting to affect me, where I can't pay my bills, and there's an extent on giving, and I went above and beyond that. I have no problem saying that. I did. But God, during this journey, the wilderness journey of this, told me, if you want to give, go on social media. I had always wanted to encourage people. I always had that in me because of the things that I had been through. Even as a teenager, I'm like, I wish I could help. I always said to myself, I wanted to speak to young girls about being abused because I was molested as a child. So I always had it in me to encourage people. But now God's saying, look, while we're working on you, it's going to make you feel good to give back to others. So start encouraging. Here's social media. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You can encourage as many people as you want. You can talk about what you want and be positive, and that'll make you feel better. And it does. It really does. I feel amazing, and I feel like I'm making a difference when I share. Thank you, Holy Spirit, when I share on here, when I encourage others, because I know that's what I needed. I know in the darkest times when there wasn't social media and I'd be in my room crying and being upset for being disrespected, cheated on, and miserable. I didn't have anyone to encourage me. And, picking up your phone and calling your friends, yeah, we can sit and badger the person, but it never really fix things. Yes, I can go to therapy and talk about my issues, and then the therapist is going to sit there. I've been to therapy. So that's why I'm saying this. The therapist is going to sit there and blame this one and say none of that helped. No. I needed to do this God's way. I needed to allow God to help me. I needed to allow him into my life. See, I had God on cruise control for a long time. I had him on cruise control. See, I knew who God was, and I kind of put him on the side until I needed him. So I would just go ahead and, keep driving and get tired, but still keep going. And then, when something bad happened, okay, now I'm going to ask God for help. No. You don't want to do that. You want God to be with you all the time. You want him to help you, to direct you, to lead you. Forgiveness, that's another thing that comes to mind. I had to ask God to forgive me because there was a lot of things that the enemy will keep bringing up that I had done to use against me, to make me feel bad. Listen, I was even hearing voices. Yes, I was hearing voices. I'm going to be completely honest because this is what happened. I was hearing voices. I was a victim, but I also could dish it out. I wasn't a good person. I was a sinner. So the enemy knew that and would keep holding that over my head and making me feel like, I didn't deserve anything, or what I did receive is what I deserve. And God said, no, you are my child, and the enemy cannot have you. I need you to come over here and listen to me and follow me and release all that. I forgive you. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it. He forgave me, and that's the end of it. And I thank God for that. Moving forward, my hair fell out after this happened. My hair fell out from stress. It was a lot, and it's hard to put together 2 years in 15 minutes. It's just virtually impossible, but you go through a lot after you walk away, after you submit yourself to God. You walk in that wilderness, and you fight your way out, and you allow God to lead you, and you allow him to heal you, and he forgives you, and he loves you. After I walked away, I didn't feel alone anymore. That was one of my biggest issues, was being alone. I didn't feel alone anymore. I knew that God was right there with me and wasn't leaving me. And that's a blessing. And he gave me peace. Those voices, yes, I don't hear them anymore. Those voices are gone. There's nothing bad going on. And if anything does come up, God's right there taking care of it, handling it. And I give it to him. I don't get in the way. Yeah, walking in the wilderness is not easy, but it's worth it. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that God allowed me to speak on it. That was another thing. I started speaking out about what happened to me. And someone said, "Why are you telling all your business on Instagram?" And I said, "Why not? This is my testimony." You know, the enemy likes us to sit in our mess. But God uses our mess as a message. So I'm going to use my mess as a message. I'm not going to let the enemy sit there and make me feel bad about it. I don't have anything to hide. My judge and jury is God. So that's what I live by. And it's important for me to speak on what's happened to me so that it can help someone else. That's the whole purpose in this. So it can help someone else and let people know that God exists, that he is for us. He is here with us. He is here to help us. He loves us. So, wow, it goes by so fast, 15 minutes. There's probably a part 3. I wanted to try and make sure that I spoke on as many things as I could, and it's hard. And I'm not one of those people to write things down and go itemize it and look and see, okay, did I get this point? Maybe I'll start doing that. But right now, I wanted to speak and talk about what happened after I walked away. Oh yeah, there's some pieces I left out I need to make sure that I address. It's hard, but you got to stick with it and know that God will get the glory, that you will gain victory in doing this. It's worth it. No one said it's going to be easy. You're literally fighting for your life here. But this time you are doing it with God. And you're not going to lose. So I pray that this